We watch Hotel Rwanda, the 2004 movie directed by Terry George, to understand genocide, but it offers only a glimpse of the events and leaves us with questions. The movie follows Paul Rusesabagina, a hotel manager, one among many Rwandans who were left with no choice but to witness a genocide unfold in front of his eyes. Rwanda is a small landlocked country in East Africa, bordered by Uganda to the north, Tanzania to the east, Burundi to the south, and the Democratic Republic of Congo to the west. Rwanda is globally known for the tragic Rwandan genocide of 1994, where around 1 million people, mainly Tutsis and moderate Hutus, were killed in about 100 days. The population of Rwanda at that time was only around 7.5 million.
What is the actual difference between a Hutu and a Tutsi?
According to the Belgian colonists, the Tutsis are taller, more elegant. It was the Belgians that created the division.
How?
They picked people, those with thinner noses, lighter skin. They used to measure the width of people's noses. The Belgians used the Tutsis to run the country. Then when they left the power to the Hutus. And of course, the Hutus took revenge on the elite Tutsis for years of repression. Am I telling the truth, Paul?
Yes, unfortunately.
The Rwandan genocide has colonial roots. The 1884 Berlin Conference demarcated Rwanda as part of German East Africa. In 1924, post-World War I, Belgium was granted a League of Nations mandate to govern Rwanda and Urundi. Before the colonial era, Hutu, Tutsi, and Twa lived in relative harmony. The Tutsi, 14% of the population, were the cattle herders, soldiers, and administrators. The Hutu, 85% of the population, were the farmers. And the marginalized Twa, 1% of the population, were hunter-gatherers or porters. Individuals could and did move between the Tutsi and Hutu categories as their fortunes rose and fell, and intermarriage was common. These were in rigid ethnic groups earlier, but colonial policies hardened identities. Throughout the colonial era, the minority Tutsi were favored over Hutu. They were preferred in administration, given privileges and a Western-style education, while the Hutus were oppressed masses. That planted long-term resentment. The tensions focused on race between the Hutus and Tutsi emerged with Belgian colonization and the introduction of identity cards that distinguished the groups, making movement between them impossible. After World War II, Rwanda became a UN trust territory under Belgian administration. In 1959, the Hutus rebelled against the Belgian colonial power and the Tutsi elite, forcing about 1.5 lakh Tutsi to flee to Burundi. In 1962, Rwanda gained independence and the Hutu came to power. Between 1962 and 1994, thousands of Tutsis were killed in massacres around the country and opposition politicians and journalists were persecuted. Starting in July 1993, a radio station widely listened to by the general population began broadcasting and spreading hate. It projected racist propaganda against Tutsis, moderate Hutus, Belgians, and United Nations. It's widely regarded as having played a crucial role in creating the atmosphere of charged racial hostility that allowed genocide to occur.
Underlying intertribal tensions have again exploded into violence, apparently with thousands dead, as rebel forces from the minority Tutsi tribe appear to be fighting the army dominated by the majority Hutus.
The two major groups involved in the tensions were the Rwandan Patriotic Front, a Tutsi-dominated organization formed in 1987 by Rwandan exiles, and the Interahamwe, the civilian militias trained and armed by the Rwandan army, formed in 1990.
President Juvenal Habyarimana of Rwanda and President Cyprien Ntaryamira of Burundi were returning from a meeting of African leaders in Tanzania. At 9:30 in the evening local time, two loud explosions were heard, and the plane carrying them and 6 other people crashed in flames. Sustained gunfire and grenade explosions started in the center of town just before dawn and are continuing. The United Nations Force Commander in Rwanda, General Romeo Dallaire, said it wasn't yet possible to say who was fighting whom, nor to evaluate the extent of the violence.
In the course of 100 days since April 1994, an estimated 8 to 10 lakh Tutsis and moderate Hutus were killed by extremist Hutus. An estimated 1 to 2.5 lakh women were raped during the 3 months of genocide. Hotel Rwanda is a biographical film that tells the story of Paul Rusesabagina, a hotel manager who shelters over 1,000 people during the Rwandan genocide. Hotel Rwanda may not give us the full picture, but it tells a truth we cannot afford to ignore. It exposes the global silence that made that story possible. We might be allowing stories like Hotel Rwanda to happen over and over again, even today, through our continued silence and persistent ignorance.